Hi, this is Kevin Brown with your 2-Minute Tuesday. Have you seen this headline? Atheists could die out over time. You see this? Because religious people are having more babies. Well, that makes perfect sense to me. In fact, a scientific study has given credence to this. This is from the Journal of Evolutionary Psychological Science, and it talks about the future of secularism. Now, they describe secularism in the paper here as refers to the idea that as mankind's scientific knowledge continues to grow, thereby explaining more and more of the natural universe and evolutionary processes, that supernatural religious explanations will gradually fade into history. Well, according to the study, that's not happening. And they're struggling, the secularists, and the folks that did this study, they're struggling with how to explain it. And do you know how they're trying to explain it? They're explaining it now by saying that we're not as smart as we used to be. And so because we're dumber and our IQ isn't as high, that we don't choose to believe in science. In fact, the line in the paper said, trends in intelligence have implications, and there is new evidence that mean IQ, that's average IQ, is beginning to decline. That's all they can come up with? You see, the secularists have said for years that they don't even care if we raise our children in Christian homes up until they're 18, because if we can get them into their labs of secularization, which is the secular colleges and universities, that they'll switch over the minds of our kids in just a matter of months. Certainly if they've got them for 4 years, they got a good shot at changing them to be secularists. Yet that's not happening as fast as they thought it would happen. And the only thing they can come up with is that we're getting dumber. You see, that's an amazing admission, if that's all you can come up with, is that we're getting dumber. Well, it's interesting that in this same study, they said that people who have more babies are more agreeable. Isn't that interesting? That they actually acknowledge that atheists and secularists are not agreeable. And that the more agreeable that you are, the more babies you have, because they have a hard time admitting that religious people have more babies. They just say, well, they're more agreeable. You know, I can only imagine what the scientists who wrote this article had to be thinking when they wrote this summary statement. They said, quote, instead, over the long term, we predict that the most religious shall inherit the earth, so to speak, end of quote. Isn't that amazing that scientists had to quote Jesus? Jesus, the final authority over all things. Doesn't surprise me in the least, does it to you? That atheists over time will die out because they don't have babies. And yet, truly, the meek shall inherit the earth. This has been Kevin Brown with your 2-Minute Tuesday.